Chi-chi's up. Hey everyone, Britt and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And if you need patience, if you're someone that says, oh my gosh, I'm going all the time, I never take a break, I really need patience, I have a short fuse, then this is a video for you. Take a moment to say hello. Where are you watching from? Is this your first time tuning in? Welcome to the Elevated Life.
Yeah, we've been coming into contact with a lot of people lately, and it seems everybody from all walks of life.
Yep.
Everywhere we go, everyone we see, people are rushing so much, and it's stressing them out. So they get into this place where they feel like they need to achieve an accomplishment, do accomplishments, scratch off the to-do list, and get to a place where they're always kind of chasing something. And that chasing, think about how our brains are really wired. We're wired for survival. And so what we do is we're so great at running from things or running toward things when we're afraid. We get all this adrenaline rush and all those kind of things, but our nervous system burns out from it. So when you're always trying to chase something, your body's kind of in freak out mode in your mind. And so what we want to start to encourage you to do is begin to relax a little bit. Like maybe you just take your foot off the gas pedal just a tad. Don't burn yourself out. Don't get into that wheel where you go, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And it's all the time, you're trying to always be on. We're not meant to be that way.
Yeah, do you feel ruled by your to-do list and your schedule? Let me know in the comments below. We saw Chelsea Handler last night, and she told this story that really got this conversation started, and that's why we're here. She said she finally started seeing a therapist, and she told the guy, I need patience. And I immediately thought, well, that's the first thing you don't ever do when you need patience is ask for it. How many of you have asked for patience? Oh, I need more patience, at praying for patience. You are not delivered patience, people. You are delivered experiences and opportunities that allow you to cultivate and learn it. So you're going to be hit with some crazy bullshit that you're going to be like, why is this happening? For instance, our rental car, when we were at a conference, started malfunctioning and doing crazy things. So we had to leave the conference to go deal with it, all to find out it was just because someone forgot to reset the button and there was nothing wrong with it. So it was like, I prayed for patience after day one of that conference, and I got the opportunity to cultivate it. And so as that was the lesson in patience, is don't ask for it. Just say, I am patient. I am patient. I am patient. Because so many of you are always saying, I'm so impatient. I'm so impatient. I'm so angry. And Chelsea Handler last night told this story where she saw her therapist and she said she needed patience. And he came in one day and handed her an orange. He said, I picked this for you. And the first thing she thought was, I fucking hate warm fruit. And then she goes, man, I am such a bitch. How many of you feel like that? Life is constantly giving you gifts over and over again, yet you're too angry or too short-fused or too impatient to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that's really a symptom. That ends up becoming the end result of everything, but the deeper symptom is that rush mentality. When you have that rush mentality and your body is in fight or flight mode and you haven't spent the time to relax and you haven't taken that foot off the gas pedal like we were talking about, you get into a space where that short fuse is your natural tendency. You're not in a relaxed state. You're not in the flow with life. And so that leads to you either being really anxious or really bored. And both of those states are not states where we're in a flow. So we're not going with life. Flow states are really about where the challenge meets your ability to do it. And so if you're in an anxious mode, what that means is that you set the challenge too high and you can't meet it yet. And if you're bored, the challenge is just too low. So you want to be in a spot where you've made that very even. And so if you're always on and you're always 100%, if you go to the gym and you beat yourself up every day and then you're way sore for the whole week, you can't do anymore, that's always the problem. Is people think, oh, I'll give so much energy to this one project, I'll burn myself out, and then tomorrow I won't be able to do anything. And that's not how stuff works. That's not flow. What we're talking about is being in a state where you're just consistent. Everybody wants to achieve things. Everybody has these big dreams, but what we lack is the focus and consistency. Instead, we think if we ram and we sprint and we do all these things and we try so hard, then we'll get it. And it won't happen. And what we'll end up cultivating is a need for patience. So get that patient mentality. Be able to walk down that hill slowly and just say, hey, I know where I'm going to get there. I don't have to sprint.
You know, one of the things I teach in Shine School is to celebrate the small wins, because if we wait until the end moment to celebrate, we are going to burn ourselves out or we're going to give up, one or the other. And if we can take that slow, consistent approach every single day, small bits every day, will lead to massive changes in the future, rather than putting it off, and then trying to rush it really quickly. I mean, you're going to half-ass it. So if you take a longer, slower approach, you build a solid foundation for you to continue to grow upon. So don't try to rush to the end. Find the joy in the journey. I always say joy is written in the word journey, literally the beginning and the end. So like find it throughout the entire process, and don't wait until the end to celebrate every single moment.
Yeah, achievement is such a fun thing to do, and it's such a fun thing to accomplish things that you set out for yourself. But if you're always rushing to get there, then you miss so much of the growth that happens along the way. And remember, it's not going to be like an achievement happens every day. A lot of things take a lot of years to develop, or even 6 months or so. If you're going to get in shape and you haven't been working out for a while, it's going to take some time. So being discouraged by the first or the second time you step on the scale is not going to help you. You've got to have that slow and steady. We all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, and we're here again, but we're still committing the same thought crimes. These are the same repeated thought crimes that we do, and we think, well, if we just do it more, and if we just do it harder, and it never works that way. It's slow and steady that will always win.
Julia says that's how she is with her workout. She's been putting it off for the past week, and she needs to slowly get back into her morning routine.
Think about this. If you are going to kill yourself in the gym, it's going to take a certain level of motivation. Now, if you know you're just going to show up to the gym and you're going to do whatever your body needs that day, that doesn't take a lot of motivation, because you know you're not going to hurt yourself. You're like, this can actually be nice and fun to do. But if you go in with the attitude of, I've got to punish my body, I'm going to go in there and sweat, I'm going to leave feeling like I'm dead because that really means I got a good workout in, all you've done is hurt yourself.
Well, speaking of getting back into morning routines, that's exactly what we're teaching in the month of May for the masterclass inside the Elevated Life Membership Club. So Julia, you're a member already, so you'll be able to access how we set up our morning and evening routines and how we control the habits that rule our lives. Because if you're not in control of your habits, they're in control of you. And so we're going to be teaching you how, if you can make bad habits, you can make good ones. We're going to teach you how to make those good ones in the masterclass in May inside the Elevated Life Membership Club. We're so excited to bring you that training. We're excited to bring you every training. I mean, we're excited every Friday to join you live and share ideas and tune in with you guys and see where you're at on your journey. And we love being able to teach you and basically group coach you, like almost one-on-one, because you guys have the opportunity to ask questions. And this month, everyone was so blissed out after overcoming anxiety. There was no questions. They were all like, no, I'm good. No anxiety here. It was so beautiful to see. I am super ambitious. How can I find that medium?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is, Britt is definitely this way. She's massively, massively ambitious. The amount of businesses that she's created, and the amount she's on a lot of times, and what you really have to do is find that balance. And so the way that we love to do it is, imagine that, let's say most of the year, let's say 9 months out of the year, you're going to run at about 65 to 70% of full capacity. Yep. That way you get plenty of relaxation in. But what's going to happen a few times a year is you're going to peak, which means you're going to slowly ramp it up, and you're going to hit that 100, maybe even 110% of what your normal output is. And you can do that because you're so relaxed. So get to that 110% spot, launch that big thing that you're doing where you pour a ton of energy. You got to stay up late nights, you got to wake up early mornings, you got to do the meetings, you got to make the phone calls, you got to do all the decisions.
Got to fly back from Bali, move all of your shit in 6 days, and then launch Shine School. Yeah, just do it,
But when you're done doing it, you've got to immediately go into a relaxation state. And I think that's what we see. We watch so many people on social media because we're so ultra connected now, but we see the highlight reels of people's lives. We see on Instagram, you see people with just beautiful bodies, but if you actually know someone that does like body sculpting or bodybuilding or things like that, they don't look like that year round. They look like that a few times, sure, during the year. Your body can't sustain those low fat levels for a long time. So what you've got to do is peak, taper off, peak, taper off, and then have kind of an off season where you're just running at like 65 or 70%, and you can do this for a really long time. If you stay at like 90 plus for too long, you'll just burn out. And what you end up really burning out is your relationships with other people, because you don't show up anymore. You're not present. And your passion. Yeah, and you feel like, well, this isn't working, and I hate this, and it's not meant for me. It's only because your approach is wrong. It's not because what you're doing is necessarily wrong or your plan is wrong. It's just that the approach is there. You're just driving too hard for yourself and not giving yourself the rest that you need. I mean, you need to stay stay in the bath for a long time, stay in that shower, do your meditations, do your yoga.
Go to the spa, get your hair done, get your nails done. Like,
whatever it is for you.
Treat yourself.
If it's shopping, go shop, buy some stuff.
Do that thing you need to fill your cup, and then once your cup is full, you have so much energy and enthusiasm to pour that forth into other people, into creations, and sharing new ideas. So it's a beautiful thing. Like, you can be fully ambitious, yet stay totally relaxed, except for that, 110% peak. I mean, you can stay relaxed, but you have to practice that. We've gotten to a state where we know what it takes. We know how much self-care we need during that time. So we know the balance that you're looking for. So it takes practice. And, today's a full moon in Libra, and Libra is the symbol of balance, the scales of balance. So how can you bring into balance more your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other people, and with your business, and how much you're giving back into the community? It's time to find your balance and find your center, because that's where the flow is. When you're pushing too hard and trying and forcing, you're out of flow. And when you're resisting, you're on the other side of the scales. So can you find that ultimate balance between pushing when you have that idea, when you're inspired to take action, and then when you have nothing and you have no ideas and you don't feel called to do anything? Normally people freak out, get into fear mode, waste their energy and imagination with worry. And instead, can you use it to allow yourself to relax and receive that refill that you need? Yeah,
one of the things you really have to, if you want to accomplish a lot, if you want to do a lot of things that make life really grand, you have to stop wasting valuable energy on worrying. I mean, you just have to come to a place where you say, you know what, I'm going to refuse to worry from now on. I have too many things that I want to do, too many things that I have going on. I cannot worry anymore. So get into a place where you say, I'm not doing this. So you start in the worry mode and I'm not entertaining that thought anymore. I literally don't care that it comes up. Not worrying. I am going to be concerned. I am going to plan for things and do that. That's not going to stop me from doing things that I know I need to do. Because we can only think of one or two things at a time. Our mind, so if you're thinking, oh man, I really got to spend time writing this book, or I really, want to practice on whatever skill I'm learning right now, but you sit in a state of worry, you wasted your energy. That's why you're not doing it. That's why you don't have enough time. That's why a lot of those things happen, is because you've spent too much valuable energy that you needed on creativity and spent it on worry, because all that happens in your imagination. Creativity, worry, all of it is just how you imagine things. And so if you're imagining bad things to happen, like, that's what's going to happen, and you're going to reflect that in an energy that you have. Yeah, and if you haven't made the connection yet, worry leads to anxiety. So anxiety is just picturing a future that you don't want. And if you are a creative being with your thoughts that create your reality, then why not use, like Chris said, your energy to create what you do want? Julia says she needs to get her book done. Why do you need to? But here's the deal, though. Again, slow and steady. Yeah. It's a little bit a day. If you try and write the whole book in a weekend, just the anxiety that can build up from feeling that you need to do it in a short period of time is really hard. I mean, imagine if you wrote 2 pages a day. Average books, let's say 120 to 160 pages. I mean, you're talking about you got a book done every 2 months, 2-3 months, every time. But you just wrote a couple pages a day. It wasn't like you tried real hard. You didn't get up and spend 10 hours doing it. You didn't stay up till 4 a.m. None of that had to happen. You just had to be slow and steady. Set the alarm on your phone, say, hey, write the book now. Well, sit down, write the book. Here's what I'm doing to write my Oracle guidebook, because we're launching this summer and I need to get my Oracle guidebook done, if we want to use that phrase. Instead of that, I am not scrolling on social media like I would normally do, another habit that rules your life. I've made a new habit where during that moment of free time, I sit down and I just start writing, and I read what I've already written, and it's easy to go back and tweak it, especially in those moments. Sometimes you need to create space to be able to really sit down and write a lot, more than 2 pages. Sure. But it's easy to spend that 2 minutes a day to go back and just kind of reread and go, what did I already create? Can I tweak it? Can I add to it? And that may spark that inspiration that you need to spend that extra time writing and creating. It's not that you have to challenge yourself. I gotta produce, I gotta do something. No, just sit with it, just read it. Like, you'll be inspired, you'll be moved by it. That's what I like about the, simple. Hey dudes. Holy shit. I love you, Vicki, and thank you so much for joining Shine School this morning. I am so thrilled to have you join. We can't wait to guide you through. So for any of you who aren't aware, I have opened the doors for Shine School. It ends tonight. Normally the doors open in the fall, but all of the alumni have gotten together and said, hey, on Monday, let's start going through Shine School again together.
together because we need that refresh. And it sounds like a lot of people need a refresh with their routines and their habits. So honestly, if you're not in the Elevated Life Club, now would be a great time to jump in. Not only are we teaching you how to overcome your anxiety, but then how to set yourself up for success through those routines and habits that are possibly ruling your life.
And talking about Shine School, you know, Britt has a program and she titled it Shine School, but what it really is how can you accomplish twice of what you're doing now in half the amount of time? Because this is the stuff that you really have to get going correctly if you want to do things. Everybody dreams of a business or being successful or all those kind of things, but a lot of the problem is they lack the way to talk to them. They don't have a good way to talk to themselves. They lack the self-esteem. They lack the self-confidence. And so they wake up and feel like, I can't really do this. Like I don't deserve it. And so because of those kinds of thoughts, it really just, you know, you're already digging yourself into a hole instead of climbing the mountain that you want to climb. And it's going to take the perseverance. It's going to take, you know, especially as
you've got to be a badass if you're going to go after your dreams. Like, there's no hem-hawing around it. Like, you have to have the confidence, you have to have the courage, and you have to have the discipline that it takes to show up consistently every day to do a little bit. I'm not asking you to do a lot, but I am asking you to do something.
Yeah, slow, steady results over time. That's always going to be the answer. I mean, thinking, if you get to a part where you're like, I just don't know what to do, it's just the next step. You don't have to know 50 steps. It's just knowing what the next one is and just doing the next one, not knowing 10, 20, that doesn't matter. Just one step, one step, one step.
Yeah, so if you're a Shine School alumni, you've gotten an email from me recently that talked about how we're going to start on Monday. And if you're new to hearing about Shine School and you want to learn more, you can check out BrittanyCarmichael.com/Shine School to learn all the details. The doors are open until midnight tonight, the end of the full moon. So I thought it just seems like the most appropriate time. So many beautiful new faces have joined us in Shine School, Vicky being one of them, and we are just so thrilled to guide you. So I am just blessed to be here. It has been so fun chatting with you.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday, happy full moon. I want to know, what are you letting go of? Full moons are a time of release so that you can call in that new experience, that new version of yourself. What are you letting go of this full moon? Leave it in the comments below. And if you know someone who would love this message and you love this message, please tag them below or share this video. We thank you for spreading the good vibes and joining us here every Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Elevated Life series. We love you guys so much, and we will see you next week. Bye.